Very special occasion. Thank you very much. This is the regular council meeting Tuesday, May 16th. And we'll just acknowledge that we're privileged to be meeting and doing work on behalf of the residents of Lions Bay on the traditional unceded territory of the Squamish and Musqueam nations. And with that, I'll have a motion to call the meeting to order. So moved. All in favor? Yes. Carried. Okay. And we're very honored this evening to have a special guest, but also we have the Honorable Judge Gregory Fitch, who sits on the bench of the BC Court of Appeals, will now conduct the oath of office swearing in ceremony and the code of conduct ceremony. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Judge. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Councillors Abbott, Broughton, and Reuter. First of all, thank you for the privilege of coming before you this evening to participate in this important civic event. As a judge of the Court of Appeal and a longtime resident of this vibrant community, I've always felt a deep sense of privilege to have the opportunity to live here. I'm reminded of this every time my wife and I have visitors from elsewhere. Inevitably, when I'm driving them back to the airport, through the village and down the Sea to Sky Highway, they say to me, Greg, never take for granted the privilege of where you live. And I never do. I'm honored to attend this evening to administer the oaths of office for our newly elected councillor, Jamie Cunliffe. We come here tonight to welcome her, to congratulate her, and to thank her for her continuing commitment to public service in the village of Lions Bay, a place that all of us are so proud to call home. Councillor-elect Cunliffe, are you prepared to take your oaths of office?
Yes, I am.
Take the Bible in your left hand and repeat after me. I, Jamie Cunliffe,
I, Jamie Cunliffe,
do solemnly swear that
do solemnly swear that
I am qualified to hold the office
I am qualified to hold the office
of councillor for the village of Lions Bay,
of councillor for the village of Lions Bay,
to which I have been elected.
to which I have been elected.
I have complied with the provisions
I have complied with the provisions
of the Local Government Act
of the Local Government Act
and the Local Elections Campaign Financing Act
and the Local Elections Finance Campaign
and the Local Elections
and the Local Election
Campaign Financing
Campaign Financing Act
in relation to my election to this office.
in relation to my election to this office.
I will abide by all rules
I will abide by all rules
related to conflicts of interest
related to conflicts of interest
under the community charter.
under the community charter.
I will carry out my duties with integrity.
I will carry out my duties with integrity.
I will be accountable for the decisions that I make
I will be accountable for the decisions that I make
and the actions that I take
and the actions that I take
in the course of my duties.
in the course of my duties.
I will be respectful of others.
I will be respectful of others.
I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration.
I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration.
I will perform the duties of my office
I will perform the duties of my office
in accordance with the law.
in accordance with the law.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just sign the oaths of office now. Sign here. Each of you. Service pin recognizing your public service to the residents. Congratulations. And we have a pin for the mayor and for each member of council. Mayor,
Thank you.
Councilor Haverly. All right, Marcus.
Thank you so much. Thank you
And Councilor Bowden, Michael. Thank you
very much.
Thank you again for the opportunity to appear.
Thank you for the honor of using your thought.
Guys, just before you leave, we also have a thing for you. Thank you very much.
We're proud of
See.
Very proud. Thank you so much.
Can we get a picture of the new council and the Dutch together?
That'd be wonderful. Yeah, let's do that. Want me to get in the back?
Yeah.
Standard front.
Marcus, I'm looking at you to stand behind just because there's so many of you. Oh, that's excellent. Thank you. Everyone up here. Say Lions Bay.
Lions Bay.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
I'd just like to say welcome to Jamie back to the council table.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for running again and serving the community. We're all very proud of you stepping up. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, one party limit.
What's up? Okay, and thank you to the gallery for coming out for this. Okay, welcome back to the council
At least
meeting.
get it set up.
Thank you. If you could please mute your computer, that would be helpful. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to the council meeting, May 16th, 7:01. And we've just come out of closed. Motion to open the meeting. Second, all in favor? Yes. Carried, okay. Reporting out of the closed meeting, just one item, the purchasing/procurement policy will be moved into the open portion of the meeting. Other than that, there's nothing else to report out. So do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Second. Discussion or additions?
Can I just say, I didn't have a chance to do this earlier. I just wanted to say, Amy, welcome to the table. So please you could join us. I just want to say I commend you for your thoughtful and deliberative and rational campaign that you engaged in. And I think you engaged residents in a conversation that was based on reason and thoughtfulness. And I think that's just what the doctor has ordered for our community. So welcome again. And I'm really delighted that you are joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And I'd also like to welcome you as we did earlier. And thank you for serving the community. Really nice to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
Any other?
I will just echo that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to 7.5 years, including the previous 4, working with Jamie.
Yes. Wow. That level.
Something to. Okay. Okay, adoption of the agenda. Any items that councillors would like to add? Just on the agenda.
I would like to add a discussion on the infrastructure committee, which I think really needs to get going.
Okay. Any other items?
The purchasing policy that would go under new business.
We've done that, yeah.
Where do we put that?
Guess we should just put it into policies, right? Where it could have been or should have been in the first place. We have,
Just for clarity.
yeah. So we normally do. When do we normally do policies in the same section as bylaws? I think.
Resolutions.
Do you want to, we don't have it on the agenda this evening. Do you want to just put it under new business?
Sure, that's
Okay.
Okay.
hang on, can we do it before the correspondence? It's under new business 16 is after correspondence.
Okay, how about in resolutions?
Yeah, why don't we put it under resolutions?
If we got a lot of noise, are we, I think it's a little, there's that generator, yes. Are we, the air conditioning's actually on.
It is? Wow.
Yeah. It just got turned off. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, thanks. See you later.
Okay, we've got policies, procurement, infrastructure, and was there something else that I missed? Anything else?
Not for me.
No, okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, carried. Okay, we'll move right to public participation. And anyone in the gallery would like to speak other than Canvas, which will be under delegations? No? Okay, we'll move to any questions in the gallery, the Zoom gallery. Leslie Nolan, if you'd like to unmute, you can go first, please.
Thanks, everyone. Welcome, Jamie, Councillor. Nice to see you there. I just was looking through the package from that we received, the minutes. And on the 18th of April, I spoke at the beginning of the council meeting in public participation and again at the end. And what my comments at the end of the meeting were captured in the minutes, but the ones at the beginning of the meeting were not. I just wondered if the record could be corrected. The letters that are referenced were part of the package. They're actually at the end of the package. And I'm just asking that the record be corrected or my comments be added at the beginning of the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, Leslie, I caught that as well. And so we'll be addressing that in the minutes portion. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, any other questions? Going on, okay. We'll move right to the public participation and Ambiz, you've promised that you'll keep it very concise and
It's short,
okay.
but I believe that in 1 minute we can finish everything. If you come up with a solution, the solution is close the parking lot. That's it. I tell you why. First of all, congratulations to all of you that the summer is coming for you that you enjoy. But unfortunately, the disaster for us. That when the summer comes, it seems that there is a disease coming. The disease that influences on the brain and all the problems that we have. We are starting from a few days ago, just the parking lot disaster. That's the only thing I can say. I don't want to go to all the details, but I'm going to tell you some of those things that we tried before and nothing has been done. Because the council is sitting and listening, but they didn't do anything. Like motorcycles, they come over there at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And bylaw officer for 3 days, which is really despicable. Because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Are the people decided to come over there just on those days, or they could come over there all the other days? And also, the bylaw officer, I called him 3 times yesterday. Would you please come over here and give the ticket to the speaker? 1 time he came and then done it. You are wasting the taxpayer money for bylaw officer. And who space for the parking or whatever, there is many things. And the payment for the parking so low. And also this is a beach, dog beach we call it. But for who? For residents or for anybody in all around Vancouver? They come over there for dog beach? This is not right. I have the solution And I can cooperate with you to do this solution. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you that because we don't have any bylaw officer or any control that everybody agrees that no law, no bylaws is going to be affected if we do not have anyone or anything that control it. We are going to face with that they beat me, they kill me even though I don't care. Because then I say that, would you please, why you're peeing here? Why you take off all the clothing in front of the house? I believe that none of you like that someone peeing in front of your house. This is not right. This beach is not belong to Lions Bay, it belongs to the government. Welcome. Anybody want to go over there? Welcome to go. But we are not obligated to provide the parking lot for the diners outside this parking. Anything that I talk, it's good for the residents. For outsiders, and just come over here for enjoying and whatever. This is not right. I suggested before that we make the parking committee, but that is we can do that, but it's gonna take long time. We have to do something tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm telling you. Close the parking lot, but there is 5 spaces over there for the residents, which is enough. And then we put the signage, no motorcycles, no exits, and no parking for outsiders. When you go anywhere in Vancouver, you don't dare to park somewhere that is belongs to it's just the residents. No one can do that because you are going to get a ticket. And now we can do that because it belongs to us. I'm very happy to tell you that actually another congratulation that we don't have the cancel of the Lions Bay, which is Peter Dijak. We removed that cancel because he did the most important stupid thing in here. Let me tell you what was it? They put 3 signage from the exits that parking, it will encourage everybody that passing by. Welcome over here, we have a parking lot. And then we hire the bylaw officer to give them the ticket. The way that you have antibiotic and then you do something against that, no. And then when I tried to fight with everybody, even to go to the court, that the signage should be removed. We are not going to invite the people come over there. We don't need them. We have to close it. I'm suggesting that please, if you want to make any parking committee, I'll be more than happy to be there. No one in Lions Bay had the experience of disaster like me in that situation, especially. And of course, we can do the other issues removed. But for immediate action, please tell them to put 2 signs in the beginning of the Lower Kelvin Road that we don't have any exit anymore. No outsiders, no motorcycles, even definite. And close the parking lot, simply. Save money, save our life, because I am not going to stay there and to see that they are doing everything after 10 p.m. sitting over there having a party, and it's maybe green that or whatever which is dangerous for our residents, and just nobody is going to tell them what to do. Who are you? Oh, please, we are residents. Would you please just lower this? The music, which actually the rap is not the music, but the music is so loud. Any beach has a big side to the beach. The side of this beach is starting from my and all of us from our beds. Because when they come over there, it's in that parking lot. starting from our bedroom. We cannot sleep. Then they come at 6 a.m. Who is going to tell them no? Who's going to what to do with the little bit ticket that they never pay? I don't want to bother you. I don't want to come over here anymore. I'm sure that all of you agree with me. That you are fired. For you, please, sir. Would you please just customer?
You should read it out.
Read it for me. Your English is better than me.
No, you should do it. You brought it. It's good.
You know what does it mean? I'm sure that everybody agreed. This is the poem from the Persian poem, which is, it has been written in the inside the United Nations. When you go in there, it's up there. Because this is the juice of the United Nations. It means one word, consideration. Consideration. If anybody doesn't have any consideration for the other people, you are not going to call them human. I'm sure that you are nice people and considerate. Thank you so much. Close the parking lot.
Okay.
If there is any question, I don't want to just any of the council just have something that they want to say, but none of you has that answer to that question. I have all the answers.
Cambiz, thank you once again. The parking committee is something that we see the importance of, and you're being affected as others in the community. So we take it seriously and we'll have a discussion on it. But thank you for.
How about the closing parking lot from tomorrow? This is disaster.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would like just all of you be my guests and stay there for 2-3 days, and then you cannot sleep.
Right.
You have to go to the hospital.
Okay. All right, Cambiz, thank you once again.
Stop the people coming over there.
Okay. All right, we'll move to item number 9, and that is a review and approval of the minutes of the prior meetings. 9A, regular council. Do I have a motion to approve the March 21st, 2023 minutes? Motion, please.
Before
Second.
Second that.
Okay, discussion. That's page 13, round through package.
Thank you so much, and responding to me by any email or anything that what you are going to do for this. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cambiz.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, 9A, page 13, in response.
I think minor Brian Ulrich, not Ulrich. Page 2 of 7.
ULRICH.
Right.
Page 14.
Okay, any other comments?
Yes, why did I highlight? So 1 second. Okay. No, sorry, I'm okay with this.
Okay,
Okay,
no further comments, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay, item number 9B, April 18th, 2023 minutes. Motion to approve.
so moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, discussion, page 20.
Page 22,
Mm-hmm.
7A. Councillor Rita abstained. I think he actually voted in favour.
Page 22.
Yeah. Page 22, 7A.
I think it was Councillor Broughton and Mayor Barry abstaining.
Well, Councillor Broughton abstained. I'm not sure if Mayor Barry voted or not, which would be an abstention, but Councillor Rita voted in favour.
Right, yeah, I definitely abstained. I was not at that meeting, right?
I abstained then if I wasn't at that meeting.
So
Yeah.
it should read Councillor Broughton and Mayor Barry abstaining.
Mayor Barry abstained. Yeah, 7A.
Okay,
Okay. I've got some on the same page if I can jump in, as to Leslie's comment. I went back and reviewed the video And so she should show up in there, I believe, after 7D, so she should become 7E, and 7E should become 7F. And if I were to provide a synopsis of her comments, that Leslie Nolan requested that agendas be provided. Oh, wait a minute. No, sorry, I have this wrong. Sorry, I went back and looked at 7D as well, which is the comments from resident at 7D. And the comment was, in addition to what's written there, that requested that agendas be provided the Friday before the council meeting and include written management reports. And also requested that council provide timely minutes with action items and disclose resident selection criteria for standing committees and minimize closed council meetings. That would be what I would add in there under 7D. And then under the omission, what should have been, I think, after 7D should have come as 7E. Pardon me, I'm giving you the incorrect numbers. This would be 5 under public participation, right? So 5E should be Leslie Nolan requesting that council provide communication to correct the notification of an all candidates meeting and advise that the 2 events are being separately held and funded by the candidates individually.
Okay, I have no objection. I think when we have our session on governance and best practices, Deanna's talked about trying to streamline our minutes and make things a little bit simpler, but until we actually get into a meeting like that and have that discussion, I'm fine.
Right.
Councilor Brown.
Well, I believe that the discussion was that the minutes were not to be a narrative, but they were to indicate perhaps the topics discussed. If someone wished to go back and the meetings were all recorded, that somebody wanted to go back and get the details, they could do so. But that wasn't the purpose of the minutes to capture the narrative of each.
Deanna, since you're online, do you want to jump in and just give us your feedback?
Yeah, that's correct. They shouldn't be a narrative, and I would caution against trying to record what residents and members of the public say, because it's also unfair if you're not able to accurately capture that. I think it's kind of impossible to try and do that. So I think if you just either do point form or just note the concern or the issue that the member of the public raised during the public participation, you'll avoid having to correct on the record things that may or may not have been said. But really, it should really just be the decisions of council that are reflected in the minutes.
Right.
Well, that would likely be part of a workshop but up to this point, there is a bit of a narrative. That's how we've traditionally done it. And given that the rest of the minutes, and certainly the minutes from the 21st of March are even far more than a narrative, they're almost a verbatim report, which I was not particularly fond of. But given that the minutes are composed this way, I would suggest that at least we are consistent thus far.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, any other comments, additions?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Okay.
25. Just a brief one there under item 265 at the top. Councillor Reuter will provide a written report after meeting. That should be after further discussion. It wasn't actually an actual meeting that I was proposing. The
Top of page 25.
top of page 25, yeah, under item 265.
oh, yeah, okay. Thanks.
That would be it from me.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Carried. Okay, move to 9C. Minutes from May 2nd, 2023 on page 29. Motion to accept those.
So move.
Second,
Second,
discussion.
Can I just bring up the, on page 32, we again see the words tabled, which we've discussed many times, and that these have different meanings, parliamentary meanings in the Canada versus the US. And I think our council procedures bylaw indicates, we've gone through this before, that it probably should have said to postpone.
Yeah.
We should probably amend that. In the two items, 7A and 7B.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Nothing more for me.
Any other changes, edits? All in favor?
Yes.
I opposed, carried. Okay, 9D. Minutes from May 12th, 2023, page 37. Motion to accept.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Any additions, edits?
Oh,
No, I'm good.
okay.
Okay,
Abstentions carried. Perfect. Yeah.
All in favor?
yes,
Opposed, carried. Okay, business arising from minutes.
it was so I need to go back to. Yeah, so the follow-up actions list is sort of being culled. It's very short, 2 items of it. But one of the things in the minutes that I've asked for before, I don't think I ever got the answer to. Actually, maybe I'm going to take that back. Did we get an answer in the budget discussion as to my question about the firefighters using secondary suites and how many people? And
Yes.
we did?
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say I didn't have that answer, but you're right, I do. Okay, I'll pick my own notes. Firefighters.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's 6, as I recall.
Okay, I do remember now. I know where to find it. Okay.
Okay, nothing there. All right, item number 11, unfinished item or business, 265, follow up with the ministry regarding the vacancy tax report back. Councilor Reuter, any update on that?
Yeah, not much accomplished on that front in the last couple of weeks, busy with the budget. I would add that I hope to be speaking also, in addition to speaking with our local MLA, with our MP at some point, Patrick Weiler, or his staff about this as well.
Okay,
They've been reaching out to us to try to get together with us, so perhaps we could arrange for them to come fairly shortly too.
Yeah,
I think would be very important for us to position with them to invite him and to have him understand our needs going forward with grants.
and I think this is one of these large needs. It's not a sexy topic. It's hard to move, but I think it's an important one, and any help would be good to have.
okay,
Okay.
Yeah. Seems like
I'll support that.
it seems like there's a reasonable position that could be taken historically in terms of what's going on in our community. So hopefully you can make that position clear.
good. Do you want to follow up with him, Councilor Reuter? Is that the plan or?
With our MP's office?
Yeah,
Yeah, that is one thing I plan to do. Yeah.
okay,
And we of course have an inn in the village, which you are aware of.
Yes, we do. Had some discussions with that in. Yeah.
okay, item 266, budget, that's complete. All right. Next item on the agenda is reports, and under staff, we have Randy Deal. So Randy, we'll pass it over to you, and you can please lead us through what you've been working on and where you see us going from this point forward.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like to say congratulations to Councillor Cunliffe. It's good to see that you're here tonight. Look forward to working with you over the next little while. I just wanted to give you some highlights in terms of what we have been doing as a group in moving things forward and getting some things done for the village of Lions Bay. So the first thing I'd like to just talk about, so the public understand what we've been doing, is that we held an orientation workshop, which was kind of a mini governance workshop where we talked a lot about your own code of conduct and what it means, and that you have to actually reaffirm that, and that what are the most desirable qualities of a council that Canadians like. And we talked about those basic qualities, which are ethical, visionary, respectful, open-mindedness, and good communicators. And we talked about what your goals were as individual counselors. This is basically, there were 4 things that you wanted to achieve in your mandate. One was more respect and mutual trust amongst each other, and had to adhere to a code of conduct. You wanted to improve community respect and trust. That falls under basic public relations. You wanted less chaos and more collaboration amongst yourselves. That's all about what good governance and running good meetings is about, and dealing with the public in a respectful way and with each other. And finally, agreement to defer major decisions until after the election, because it was becoming a hot point in terms of creating more conflict rather than less conflict amongst you. So those were some of the things that we talked about in that workshop. Some of the things that that I think are important right now is that you get on with your recruitment process for important staff, and that you adopt the one employee model concept, which is the CAO reports to you, and that all of the staff report to the CAO, and you stay out of operations. You must have your heads in the policy area, not in the operations area. And we also talked a lot about your budget in terms of the timeline to get this done. That was a critical issue for you, and you finally did get it done. It wasn't easy, and congratulations. It would have been very problematic for you if you had not achieved that deadline. We also talked about your council meetings, and one of the things that I've noted since joining you is that your meetings are a lot more controlled and managed. I think we still have a long way to go, to be honest with you. But I think you've done a good job of turning those meetings around from being rather disruptive to a lot more collaborative amongst each other. And I think that's what you probably want to see happen. You still need to work more on how you manage your conflicts amongst yourselves, and that's not an easy one for anybody, and particularly with you, with the kind of history that you've had in the village. And you're working on trust amongst each other. The next thing that we worked on was the financial plan and the tax rate bylaw. However, having said that, you still have to produce an annual report for the Ministry of Municipal Affairs by June 30th. So that's the next big task that you have to get done. And I can send some samples of other municipalities, and you can probably look at your old annual reports to get some guidance there. You completed the by-election, and that was just recently, and there was lots of discussion in the community about local politics, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing, but I think you finally got your way through that. We managed to provide you with some temporary staff who were, one was to help with your budgeting process, and the other is Deanna, who's there to assist you with legislative and governance issues. And I'm trying to set up this next workshop on governance with Deanna there as well, because she can provide you with a tremendous amount of advice in terms of some of your policies around procurement, for one thing. I know you talked about it earlier. You've got a procedural bylaw that needs to be updated. Those are the kinds of things that are really important in how to work together, even though you have a difference of opinion amongst each other. And there's a way of doing that, and there's a way of not doing it. And I think the governance workshop is going to be geared to helping you follow the rules, Robert's Rules of Order, and your own procedural bylaws, so that you produce productive meetings amongst yourselves. And the sooner you get at that, the better, because it's been a little bit of a rough ride for you, and we need to get the train back on the tracks and working smoothly. So today, when I'm finished, this is only a couple more comments. I'm going to give you some dates for a governance workshop and another date for doing your strategic plan, and that's a critical document as well. The next steps, your CAO recruitment process, I've offered, and I think you've accepted that I could help you go through those applications and start to develop a process for recruitment of your CAO. Probably one of the most important things you'll do during your mandate is to go through that process. So what I'm waiting for from you is all the applications, because the deadline is over with now. And so who's ever in the hopper, I'd like to have a look at those and start reviewing the quality of the applicants that have submitted. And the sooner you get on with that, the better, because you definitely need to start to stabilize the staff. The workshop on governance will touch on your procedural bylaws mentioned, public participation, processes, collaboration and respect amongst each other. Deanna has also got a list of items that she would like to help you with. One of them is your freedom of information process and how you handle that. The other is public letters coming into council, how you manage that process. And all of them are within your, other than law, are within your purview to make whatever changes you want on policy, but you've got to still fall under the charter and under other legislation. So it's not a freewheeling thing, but I think Deanna can provide a tremendous amount of help at that governance workshop. And the sooner you get that information, the better your meetings will be. And then finally, the workshop on strategic planning will be the next step as well. And I strongly encourage you to make that happen as well, because it'll provide you with a guideline for the next 3.5 years of your mandate as to what you're trying to achieve. What you would like to see happen in the village. And it's a very public document, and it guides council in terms of what are your priorities as individuals and then coming together as a group. And one of the things that I've noted is that there seems to be some confusion around which lawyers to use and when. And I think it's really important that you decide that there's a certain company that you're going to turn to for municipal advice, and you don't start moving around from that company unless there's a conflict of interest. You must have a relationship with that law firm so that there's trust between you. And if you don't have that, if you're bouncing around between lawyers, then you're going to get a bunch of different pieces of advice, and they may conflict with each other because it depends on who said what to whom as to the results of the advice you're going to get. So find yourself a corporate lawyer and stick with them and develop a relationship with them. So those are the things that we've been working on. I'm feeling that your meetings are so much better than when I first joined you. And I take my hat off to you because I know it wasn't easy, and I see some good change. And I think that tells me that we have some really good opportunities to move into the future. The number one thing right now is let's get on with this governance workshop. You guys are not easy to pin down, but have some suggested dates. Now, originally I was proposing to run the 2 workshops together just to be efficient with it, but that's not going to work because of people's schedules. So what I'm proposing now is we do 2 nights in a row. That's 4 hours each. The first workshop would be on governance, and I'm suggesting that we do it possibly on a Sunday, the 4th, and the Monday, the 5th, because your meeting is not going to be on the 6th, and that would be in the evening. And I would come down for that, and Deanna could tap in the evening as well. Or the following week, the 11th and 12th, because if we can't get it before June, it's just impossible with your schedules. So those are the 2 dates for governance, and I'd really like it if you could tell me what you'd like so that I can start making plans to come down. The next workshop, strategic planning, could be done at the end of June, either the 18th and 19th in the same way, 4 hours a night, or the 25th and 26th of June. So those are the proposals, and in terms of timing, and I think I really encourage you to pick a date and let's make it happen.
All right, Randy, thanks for that. I'm available earlier the better. Any other comments?
I have direct conflicts on both of those nights at this point.
So
I'm available the 4th, available the 12th. No, I'm not available. 11th or 12th.
sorry, I'm
Could I
not.
step out? Could I, on the 5th, could I step out of the workshop for an hour?
Oh, yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, I could probably make that work then.
So 4th and 5th.
Yeah, I can make that work at this time.
Okay, Councillor Abbott.
I'm just checking.
I was just saying, given that we've got a council meeting on the 6th, and there's often a bit of a push to get ready for that, I would prefer the 11th and the 12th, and I'm okay with the 25th and 26th for the second one.
Councillor Abbott.
When you say evenings, Randy, what time are we suggesting? You said 4 hours, starting at what time?
Well, I think the latest you want to start would be, you're used to starting at 6, so I think we can make that happen at 6 o'clock. Usually after 10 o'clock at night, you're done. So we can make that happen starting at around 5:36 and then work through it. I'm going to be pushing you pretty hard to get through those timeframes. There's a lot of technical stuff, and I know Deanna's going to be there to help. But there's a lot of stuff to go through. So you will be tired by the time you finish these workshops. So I know that it's tough right after work to be there, but I strongly encourage you to try and get that 6 o'clock date time frame in.
Would it be possible on the Sunday to have an earlier start?
It's up to you.
Betty.
No problem for me, but it's I thought some people may just want to have a nice Sunday to themselves, but I can work either way.
Yeah, I would go with the earlier start on the Sunday.
Like a late
So
afternoon,
we have too many late nights in a row.
3 or 4.
And if it's on weekdays, if it's after 5, I'm not traveling on either of those weeks, so I can do as long as it's like sort of 5 in the afternoon, or not too early. I can start a little earlier, but
I'm currently flexible with all those dates. I can schedule my June bit around this, so.
So Randy, one other question. I'll be gone on the 4th and 5th and 11th and 12th. So I'll be joining you remotely. Will that be at all feasible?
As long as I can see the whites of your eyes, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Okay. It's not ideal, but it's, I know that sometimes it's difficult for people to get there, but
Yeah.
I can work with that.
So again, as to the multiple nights, I think doing the 4th, 5th, and then having a council meeting on the 6th might be a bit much.
Yeah.
I think we should go 11th and 12th, and then
I'm not here. Yeah.
for either of those. Thought you had one of
Not
those.
sure about, well, 11th I have commitment as chair of the Scholarship Foundation, the high school grad, which is not movable. And as far as I know, I'm committed on the 12th.
So if I could just interject, if we had it on the Sunday, say from noon till 4 o'clock, and then Monday night for 4 hours starting at 6, would that work for people?
Works for me.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
On the 4th and 5th?
No, 11th and 12th.
No.
No, 4th and 5th I was mentioning.
Do you want to do it earlier in the morning and then you've got your day?
If you want, I can do a whole Sunday for you and get it done. If that's something of interest to you, but it's
Gotta start at 8 o'clock in the morning and,
just get right through to
midnight?
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
well, he's talking 4-hour sessions, so 8 hours.
8 hours.
But you split it up.
Yeah.
I like going early in the morning. You've got your whole day rather than right in the middle of the day, but I don't know.
and I think Randy's asking, do you want to do it in one day, 2 4-hour sessions?
I'm fine with that too.
Take out a whole Sunday.
On the 4th?
I'm fine with that too. Get it done.
Problem is then Marcus can do the 4th, right?
No, I'll be remote, whether it's 4th, 5th, 11th or 12th. But I'm happy to do it in a full day session or in 2 evening sessions.
How about the 4th, 8 o'clock in the morning, go 8 hours?
Yeah. Then we'll review the agenda package for the meeting on the 6th to make sure
Yeah,
we don't have too much. We have to.
right. We can use
We'll
that.
get them on the Friday and they'll be reasonable.
That'll be an exercise, sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we can make that happen.
Randy, the 4th, 8 o'clock in the morning?
Okay, I can do that. I'll start putting an agenda together for you and putting the PowerPoint together for a presentation along with Deanna.
And then do you want to do, oh, you can't do the 11th and 12th. So what dates for the
Well,
strategic
The
workshop?
other was either the 18th and 19th or 25th and 26th. Same thing, strategic planning. We can get it done. It's hard work, but I can push you guys hard enough to get it done in a day. We can do it on another Sunday, or you can do it in 2 nights. Either one of those dates work.
Again, 18th and 19th is right in front of a council meeting, isn't it? No, sorry, that's the 27th. Yeah. No,
No, your council meeting's on the 20th.
What's the 18th? Is that a Sunday?
again, stacking up.
Yes.
So I'd prefer the 25th and 26th.
Session.
I'm okay, but,
How about an 8-hour session then on the Sunday, the 18th,
or maybe on the
25th.
25th?
Totally exhausted.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm hearing the 25th all day.
Sounds like it.
4th and the 25th.
Okay, we have ourselves some dates.
So is that with both you and Deanna or?
Yeah, Deanna's, and I've talked about it. I know she's got some stuff that she's been working on. Deanna, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, and actually the 4th works out perfectly because I'll actually be in Whistler, so I can come in person for part of the day. And yeah, Randy and I will connect on parts of the workshop that he'd like me to cover, and we'll work on some on a PowerPoint presentation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if you want me at the strategic planning session. I think that's more your thing, Randy, but
Yeah.
definitely I have some things for the governance session. So
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, anything else you'd like to add, Randy?
Oh, that's great. I'm pleased that you've got a date for me, so that's good. And I think it's really important. And you're not alone. It's not easy running a local government. People think it is, but it is not. You basically got 5 political parties sitting around a table trying to agree with each other. That's tough work. So, you know, you need to cut yourselves a little bit of slack in terms of the challenges ahead of you, but you can get there. And I think Deanna and I can help you do that. So well done and keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you very much for the input and your assistance.
Could I just ask one question? Randy had mentioned the help on the recruitment process. So part of that would be, I guess, getting a list of all candidates who have applied so far and all incoming resumes. That's probably something we should
That's what he asked for, yeah.
ask for, yeah.
Yeah.
So probably those should come to us and Randy, all resumes that have come in thus far. And should we also, I didn't see any postings on Civic Info or our website for any positions. We should probably get that going as well, shouldn't we?
My view, you should, yes.
Yeah.
I think that's a good action, yeah.
So that would be for what? CAO, CFO,
Right.
Marina,
building inspector.
Yes.
building inspector is, Mike Jury has been signed up by the CAO, and I think I put that out in the village update. So
He's been given a contract,
he's been given a contract. Yeah,
so he's still to qualify.
we'll have to question the CAO, but that's my understanding. So,
But I'd say we have to advertise for a building inspector because only council can appoint a building inspector, right? Not staff. That's in our building bylaw and our zoning bylaw. It's, as far as I know, in the community charter or the local government act, that is not an action of staff, but council.
my understanding is they have been advertised. So, you know, the CAO is not here tonight, but we can ask him that question.
I understand it was advertised extensively, yeah.
Yeah,
But to the
I
point.
think he reported back to us on the interest in that as well.
Right, but only council can appoint a building inspector. That's just, there's no way around that. Staff cannot do that. So I would suggest that we get all these advertisements out and, I mean, only council can do that. It's in our zoning bylaw. It's in our building bylaw. And that is the purview of council. Plain and simple.
So it's like we need to revisit
We
this.
need to revisit that then. Because that's not my understanding. My understanding is the CAO proves that, but.
Well,
Mayor Barry, may I
Yeah.
jump in? I'm
Yes,
happy
yeah.
to look into this for council. That's not my understanding or experience. That it's within the purview of council to hire or appoint a building inspector. You might be thinking of the approving officer, who often is who is an officer position. It's often the building inspector that's given the approving officer sort of status, but then that's done by council. But your bylaws may say otherwise, but I don't believe it's in the legislation that that council does the hiring or appointment of like building inspectors. It's really just the CAO. But I'm happy to look into that and take a look at your bylaws and just confirm that understanding is correct and get back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Deanna.
So,
Deanna,
you're correct, our building inspector has always been the officer. Maybe how it happens.
Yeah, Deanna, I'll just point you to our building bylaw. It's on page 2. Under building inspector is the person appointed by council as building inspector for the village. And in the zoning bylaw, the approving officer means the person appointed by council is the approving officer. So I'll just let you take a look at those.
All right, Deanna, thank you very much. We appreciate you looking into that. Okay. I guess that's, we'll move on to.
I had a question on Randy's things a little bit slowly. Reaffirmation of the code of conduct, Randy. I recall we had a deadline. Also has a deadline to have a code of conduct. We spoke about, we come to the last meeting, we thought it was 6 months, but we were going to go confirm that. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, I'll look into that for you. I know that it has to be done. It's not fatal, but you do need to get it done. And we can tie that up with our governance workshop.
Okay. And then can you leave some time in your governance workshop for the enforcement of the one employee rule? Because I don't know that community charter says you must, and maybe best practice, but I think we might want to spend some time on that one.
Yeah,
I might need some convincing.
It's best practices for BC, and it's practiced pretty much uniformly right across British Columbia. But it's not a requirement, no.
That's right.
Okay. All right, let's need some time for that discussion then.
That'd be good to discuss because we've talked about whether we want a CAO or whether we want a city manager or restructure that. So that is something that we kind of tossed around, Randy, was whether we need a full-time CAO, whether it's a combined position with a CAO and works manager or a city manager. That's something that we thought we would sort of explore. So maybe if you gave it some thought.
Sure.
Okay.
Secretary treasurer type of idea. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Randy or Deanna? No. Okay. Next item is we'll move that the information report for the 2023 local by-election report be received. We have a move. Second. All in favor or any comments?
It's very thorough.
Okay, good enough. We'll move to council reports, and Councillor Broughton, over to you on harm reduction in a healthy community.
Okay, I was fortunate to attend the harm reduction workshop in North Vancouver a week ago today, I guess. And it was a fascinating workshop, day-long workshop, and regarding harm reduction in healthy communities. And it was quite staggering what the statistics were around losses due to illegal contaminated drugs. British Columbia is losing 6 people a day to this, and so that there was a tremendous amount of incredibly useful information. Councillor Cunliffe had been involved in this with these people in previous council, and I think has expressed an interest in maybe continuing in that area. It made a lot of sense to me if she wanted to continue to pick that up. What I found really, really interesting was there was so much information. There was members of council from Bowen Island, Lions Bay, North Vancouver, unfortunately nobody from West Vancouver, and they really were looking to try to get awareness in any way they can, and in as many areas as they can. What I found fascinating was the incredible challenge of the struggle to get the message out, to get an accurate message of the problem as they see it, and sort of getting past what people want to believe. And one of the things is that a lot of people die as a result of contaminated drugs, or street people and so on. And in fact, street people are probably the safest to take contaminated drugs because they fall down in the street and are resuscitated, whereas the people who are well housed end up dying alone in their homes. So it was really quite stunning, the information. they will be reaching out to us. They really see us as very important storytellers and really helping to get people to understand what an incredibly serious problem it is. I don't think any of us need to think too far to identify both residents of Lions Bay and connections within our families that have been lost. So it's really a very serious matter. So anyway, I felt very honored to attend that workshop.
All right, well, thank you for that report. Certainly is a concern. Okay, any questions for Councillor Brown? Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. We'll move to Councillor Abbott and Broughton, an update on the beach park.
Yeah, the Beach Park Committee meeting, significant part of it was enclosed. Received some bids for the RFP for the architectural services for the washroom. Recommendation was not made. As I said, staff were present as well. We did not make a recommendation. We had a few clarification questions that have gone back to the bidders, and they will be reviewed as a group and making a recommendation to the council. In the next meeting, I think that was there was updates on the other sort of components. Good advancing and moving forward with the RFP for the playscapes, which is in good shape, ready to go out. It hasn't actually launched. It might have gone.
It actually has gone out. It's gone out to four proponents. And there's a walkabout on Thursday.
That's right.
That I'll be joining Kirsty Pappas at the park. And we have 4 different providers meeting us. I think 3 of them are confirmed as of today. The other one is trying to make an adjustment.
Yep.
Okay, also, we've made a proposal to Front Counter BC regarding an emergency repair of the jetty, and all the paperwork is in, and we're just trying to expedite on this classification of the work there as an emergency, because another king tide and the jetty's going to be in trouble next year. So we really need to get on it. So that the Front Counter BC has all the information provided, and Scott Gordon and I will make an appointment at the earliest possible time to get down and physically meet with Front Counter BC to try to expedite on getting an emergency repair permit for the jetty, and it'll be recapped in concrete and reinforced underneath. It won't be larger, but it will be higher, and it will be strong, and it'll be a real asset to the beach. It'll protect our beach, the sand, and protect the beach front itself, and it should be quite an interesting place to hang out as well. So it's going to be quite exciting.
Is that something that'll happen in the fall, or is that the idea?
I can't remember
Well,
the exact dates around.
It's not the original schedule. We wanted to do it this year in the fall, but I don't know if we're going to get there. We'll correct you, Michael, but I thought we said we weren't going to do a physical meeting in the committee meeting.
No, they've been in connect, both Merrick and Scott have been in contact.
Yeah, we should
Suggested that we do that.
We should take it offline now. The discussion in the committee meeting about Merrick going down there came out somewhat differently to my memory. But anyway,
Sure.
okay.
Okay. Well, the email was sent and confirmed after.
Okay, good. Okay, anything further?
Not on that. We're going to be talking about the procurement policy, which is also there, a bit of a stake in that as well as others.
Okay. All right, we'll move to the next item, and that's the procurement policy, motion to approve that. We'll have discussion, of course, but
I don't think we have something to approve, to be honest.
okay.
I don't think that's.
Did you want to present this to us or have a discussion on it?
Yeah, I don't think that we should definitely have a discussion on it.
Okay, motion to discuss. So moved. Second.
Could we receive?
Yeah, we should receive it.
Receive it, okay.
And maybe do a notice of motion for the next meeting. That we would expect to move forward on this,
And this was
the purchasing policy.
it was enclosed that got moved into.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I'll get a
Yeah,
copy of that.
yeah, yeah.
Before. Okay, perfect.
So it's,
Okay, discussion, Councillor
Yeah, I've got a few,
Abbott.
got a few things that just need to find. I'll go back to that. What page was it? Anyone?
Close 37.
37?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
so our existing policy was created in 2002 and updated in February 2nd of 2016. So it really is, in need of upgrading. There, as a result of looking at how we're going to proceed with the beach park, we've identified that our purchasing policy really needed to be reviewed. I think the similar kind of concern came up in the Climate Action Committee, and also former village
Works manager.
municipal accountant had done some work in terms of making suggestions, because the values are very low. The cutoff values are cost of everything is doubled and tripled, and the values for cutoffs have not been adjusted. So predominantly it's a change of those values.
So a lot of these suggestions came about from the beach committee. Is that correct assessment?
Maybe I remind you. So in April the 4th, I gave a report of all the stakeholders, as the works. So it has the CEO to go and update the policy. There was kind of 4 inputs: the existing policy, some great research done by Susan on the beach park, that what other communities did around DOA, basic delegations of authority, which is the way the beach park were kind of focused. But then there was also on the previous council, there was a resolution taken to revise our purchasing policy to have, for lack of a better term, a green lens on it. So there was that report, and it was passed to the council, so I passed that information on those minutes onto them. And then the 4th thing was, as Michael mentioned, how you could previously had actually started this process. What we're asking for is a draft revised policy. What we got back here seems to be an update to Haley's report as opposed to an actual policy. But it has some glaring errors on it, or glaring omissions on it. So it does not have any of the language that the previous council approved about making the policy have a green lens of environmental. Someone, I gave them all those minutes. It's here. There's a half a page of verbiage that's supposed to be woven into the policy. There's one short statement that seems to have dumbed down the whole thing. So I think this needs to go back to staff. And again, I have to remind them that whether they agree on it, it's not their decision to make. The previous council passed a resolution on this. They either need to follow it or ask this council to go back and reverse that resolution. And I'll put it open. Does anyone in this council want to go back and reverse the resolution, as well as, the statement that the village recognises the climate crisis? We don't want to do that, then staff need to follow that guideline. And for some reason, they seem reluctant to do so.
Okay, so we need to send your suggestion, send it back to staff.
Needs to be sent back. I don't think it was a proposal. I think it's an omission. Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Cunliffe?
I agree. Yeah, we did a lot of work to actually recognize the climate crisis and put those provisions for purchasing things for.
You were on the committee.
Yeah.
Chaired the Climate Action Committee, and that an enormous amount of work went into that.
Okay, so we need to add these things back in.
Yeah.
Councillor Ryder?
Yeah, I would concur. I mean, a lot of work has gone into this, pardon me, and I think that needs to be a part of this job.
Okay, so we'll send it back to staff. Any other comments?
No, just refer them to the previous report that I gave them. It's all in there. And there's a real sense of urgency now, because the Beach Park Committee are now going to get held up if we don't get on with this. And it's been out there since 4th of April or whatever.
Yeah, we need to move forward with these RFPs. So
Okay, so we'll refer it back the staff and hopefully they can turn it around for us and incorporate all the good work that was done previously. Okay, perfect. Bylaws, nothing under bylaws, correspondence, Councillor Reuter. Yep, over to you.
Yep. So we had one other thing. We added the infrastructure committee thing
I put that under new business.
after the correspondence.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I'll make it brief because I have to, just got this yesterday. And I am remiss in the public correspondence thus far. As a result of our long budget workshops and meetings. You know, I'd like to make this a collaborative process here. I would suggest that the correspondence received from the outside be received. And I note that the resident correspondence are 1 through 12, that there is one piece missing, are 2. I don't know why that's missing. I would propose that we add that back in and it be published in the next correspondence package. There are a number of items here regarding highway noise and the need for a highway committee. And we heard someone in the gallery tonight speaking about something related. There are a number of budget questions, a couple on transparency and the need for municipal experience at a staffing level. And I will endeavor to answer those and reflect the will of majority of council as best as I can. If anyone would like to provide some input as to any specifics, I'd be happy to hear that.
Okay, any questions? Councillor Reuter?
That's it from me. Any direction from council here? You want to launch in?
So was the last question you asked?
The question was if anybody at council, I'll try to answer these to the best of my ability to reflect the will of the majority of council. But if anyone has any specific points, I'll take them now.
Okay, Councillor Broughton, sorry, Councillor Cunliffe.
I just skimming through here, but I noticed the discussion from Mr. Clune about the highway noise and the sound walls. I would imagine that has a lot to do with Highway 1 and federal funding. So that would, if you had a moment to look into that, to provide that answer to him. Because it would be like a third. So I manage expectations about what the reality of actually getting a sound wall here may look like. I think that's probably because I know they're fairly new and this is a major concern, so.
Right. Managing expectations.
I think that it could be an extraordinarily expensive endeavor if it was, we could get the Ministry of Transportation Infrastructure on board.
Mm-hmm.
And then how much would they actually cover?
Mm-hmm.
If they would even cover 50%, that would be probably surprising. So I think looking at those parts, if you look at Highway 1, I mean, you have federal money getting thrown at it. And that's a huge part of all Highway 1 improvements through every municipality.
And even in that area, there are many residents who show up in the media regularly who are very unhappy with the noise they're subjected to.
Yeah, unfortunately, electrification in entirety couldn't come soon enough, but yeah. That's really all
Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do they make electric Harleys yet?
Pardon?
They make electric Harleys yet? Does that defeat the aim?
If they do, they'll pipe them loud anyway, I'm sure. They'll put an
Yeah.
There was the highway committee worked for years to try to establish the sound level for, acceptable sound level in the community. And I think we need to go back and revisit that. And we may have some leverage with the provincial government in terms of meeting, sound levels. There's a whole spectrum of things that need to be addressed in terms of of dealing with highway noise. Quiet pavement is certainly one.
The downtown,
But the,
is
and
priority.
sound walls have been given, there was huge amount of money spent during 2009, 2008, 2009 with sound walls. And I think where they're missing, they were talking about how much benefit they could provide there, that type of thing. So that amount of work has been done.
That'll be the highway committee.
Yeah.
The noise
Highway committee.
Yeah, yes. Oh, okay. Any other comments before we accept correspondence? No?
So you'll be drafting and circulating as I did?
Yep.
Okay, terrific.
Okay, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, carried. Okay, next item, new business, infrastructure committee. We could probably add highway committee, parking committee, and grants committee as well. But now will you propose that? So
Yeah, so
you,
I do realize we have a lot of committees to talk about, and we've got to decide which council is going on which committees and so on. Because we have a new councillor, we did it once before, and she was not included. So, but I do feel the infrastructure committee needs to go sooner and can't wait. We have a lot of stuff pending on this committee, as you're all aware from the budget stuff we were talking about. There's a lot of stuff they need to work on. We've all seen emails coming around from the government review of the water systems and the stuff that we need to work on there around filtration. We'll call it deferment for Tony's sake, but it's still been called avoidance by them. So there's a lot of stuff we need to get on. We can't really wait any longer. We had a delegation, well, not a delegation. 3 people came separately, 2 minutes, over 2 minutes from the previous infrastructure committee. I've been in contact with all 3 of those members, one of whom we all know is now the village workshop manager or the interim village workshop manager. And I, in that, when they came to council meeting, they clearly wanted to make this a select committee. I've spoken further about that. They believe that's the only way it will work. I am completely in agreement with them. I was on the previous infrastructure committee. I have some background, as you probably all know, as I'm a project manager in a large engineering firm. So I'd like to request the council give me the authority to work with the previous infrastructure committee members to come up with a format for an infrastructure committee, a select infrastructure committee. That's what I'd like to ask for, and I'll put that forward as a motion.
okay, before you do that, just because we've talked about this being a standing committee many times, and there's been community members that have reached out to me on that standing committee. So what you're suggesting is that we scrap the standing committee and we do a select committee?
Yeah. And all those people that have shown interest will all be involved. So where we were going with this is a small core committee. I believe I only need 1 councillor, and I'm okay if that's the case, 1 councillor. Councillor sister could be 2, I guess, but I don't see the need. And then 3 to 5 core members. And then we can have a big pool of experts, and there's got a lot of people in the village that have offered to be those subject matter experts. We're going to make sure we've got every discipline of engineering. And then the core group I would take from council, we want them to focus. We would talk about what projects we want to do, and then decide, okay, we're going to focus on this project, go to the pool of subject matter experts and say, we need you and you to come to a meeting to discuss a particular project. And that's how we're trying to. So the meetings wouldn't be too huge with a lot of people, but we'd be able to engage a little bit where the beach park actually started, except that'll be the permanent kind of format.
Okay. My intention was to have that committee as broad as possible, have as many community members as possible, whether it's as advisors or committee members. So I'm open to that. I don't know what other council members think of the suggestion by Councillor Abbott.
Well, it seems to me you've initiated the idea of the standing committee that you should proceed with that and incorporate anyone who has expertise and wants to come forward. So I would support you continuing as a standing committee.
A standing committee can only have equal number of councillors and residents.
You can also have advisors.
So you can have unlimited extra.
Randy, maybe perhaps you can give us some guidance on this. We've talked for some time about a grants and funding committee and also a infrastructure committee being standing committees. And the proposal is to rename it as a select committee and run with it as a select committee. So perhaps you can give us some guidance on that.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Mayor, that Deanna is probably better equipped to assist you with that. That's right under her expertise.
Sure,
All right,
I'm
Deanna.
happy to do that. So standing committees are committees of the mayor. Committees created best that the mayor feels for purposes best dealt with by a committee and can be comprised of councillors and members of the public as well. Select committees are committees of council. So all of council creates the committee and appoints members to the committee. Can also be councillors and members of the public. Typically, select committees are established for a specific purpose and for a set period of time. So to look into something and report back to council. So it really depends on what the goals of this committee are in terms of which committee form would be best.
In terms of infrastructure committees and grants committees, that's what we're looking at here. What's your experience or what have you seen in other communities?
That's a good question. I don't know if I've ever seen a committee actually dedicated to grants and infrastructure. I've seen committees that sort of align with the infrastructure or operations department of a local government, but given that infrastructure matters and grants are an ongoing function of local government, I would say it probably suits being like an ongoing standing committee.
Can I just comment on that again?
Yeah.
So on the previous council, it was a standing committee. I was on the standing committee. It kind of evolved to stopping two-thirds of the way through the term. One of the big issues that were raised were by the resident expert members who felt that there was too much politics in the room, and that's not what they came to do, because in order to have 4 resident members, we had 4 councillors, and they felt they needed to be allowed to focus on technical issues, come up with technical solutions, send it back to council through one councillor, and then council can make the political decision outside of the infrastructure committee room. When the members, as you remember, when they came here and spoke about this a few months ago, they were pretty strong on wanting to do it that way for that reason. So, you know, as I said to council, I've been on this committee before, as Jamie will know. I strongly recommend we do it as a select committee. It wasn't working the way it was going before. And let's give it a try as a select committee. And I think if we can allow these guys to focus on the technical stuff and they want to do with some guidance to the council, a project manager like myself understands it, I think you'll get great results out of it. And that's really what they're asking for. So that's why I implore you to do it that way.
Can I comment on this?
Sure.
I recall well the residents who came forward and strongly recommended that this be a select committee and be a tight group. They are the ones who are eager and ready to get to work. And I think making this a select committee will get this off the ground and moving. And that we should avail ourselves of their expertise, which they're so generously offering us here. And so I would second that motion to make that a select committee.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to add one thing that I didn't say that Mark was going to touch on. There's more for Deanna and others than necessarily people at the table here. The other thing that we need to remember about the infrastructure committee members we're talking about, this is the same group that instigated the infrastructure master plan, the document that's guiding our strategy. It's absolutely crucial that we have them at the table and engaged in the way that they feel they can be productive. Okay, sorry, I'll say no more.
Okay, Councillor Conlon, anything to add?
Well, I would say that if this is what the members are asking for and how they feel most comfortable in volunteering their time to the village, then we provide that opportunity. It can be dissolved and revisited if it doesn't seem to be the most productive way to do it. But if this is what the residents have asked for, then it would seem to me that we need to respect what they've put forward. And it can always be changed in the future.
Okay, we've got interest from others other than
We are going
just the core group.
very,
I've actually talked with one of the members that you're referring to, and they suggested that we not even have a committee. And so I think there's different ideas on this. I think this is obviously critical. We all agree that the infrastructure, that's the elephant in the room, is we've got this massive commitment here, and we're going to have to figure out how to fund that. And that's why the grants committee is also important. Before I commit to it, personally, I'd like to follow up with the people that have committed to me on as the mayor's standing committee and have a discussion with them and just find out if they're open to a select committee as well. And I'd like to reach out to the 3 members. So I know you've spoken with them, so that would be my feeling on it.
if you want to add the names of those people who reached out to you.
Definitely. I mean, the more names we have on this, my vision on a standing committee was to have, well, however many councillors are participating, equal number of residents plus advisory board, and expand that into everybody that wants to volunteer and commit their time. So not willing to cut anybody off and shun anyone from this. Councillor Brown.
Bearing in mind that all committees are advisory committees regardless. So, you know, if you have advisors or if whether a person is technically a committee member or an advisor, they're still inputting into the process. Could I just clarify, was the last committee a standing committee or a select committee?
Standing.
It was a standing committee.
And that was part of the problem.
Came too political, yeah. Why don't I revise my my ask here slightly? Why don't I convene a meeting with everyone that's showing interest? And as a group, we discuss what the best format is to go forward, including the guys that submitted their names to you and the other guys that have come in to present it to council. Let's get them all in a room. I'll coordinate, I'll chair a short meeting with them, and let's see as a group we can come up with the best format.
Sorry, go ahead.
And
Absolutely.
And that way there's no conflicts of more than 3.
Well, I've committed to this standing committee, so I'm open to getting in a room all together and inviting as many of the people that are showing interest. So I'm very much open to that. So let's put a group together and have a discussion. I'm not relinquishing though the mayor's ability to move on a standing committee. So until we have a discussion as a group.
And I'm sure none of us want to have 2 committees. We don't want council establishing one and you establishing one.
Mhm.
It's going to look pretty silly. And that's Randy will be us taking us 5 steps backwards. So let's not do that.
Well, and that's why this is the first I've heard of it. And I've been working, as you can understand, I've been working on putting a standing committee together. So but I'm very much open to getting in a room and inviting all of the interested parties and see where it goes.
Okay, all right.
So why don't we?
I have a list of probably a dozen names. That probably some of them was already on your list. Let's put them together. Perfect. And see if we can get a meeting.
Perfect. Okay. Why don't we'll take that offline, you and I, and we'll arrange that as early as we can. Okay. All right. We also need to think, and I don't think we need to go into too much discussion, but the highway committee, parking committee, we certainly want to get our heads around those and get those going as quick as possible as well. And as Councillor Broughton said, all these committees, the idea is to get volunteers, making suggestions, putting their expertise to work and getting recommendations.
Yeah, we probably need to revisit the committee conversation. We have a new councillor in the room at any rate.
Essentially what we were waiting for.
Yes, yeah.
So I think we need to.
That should form part of that discussion.
Okay. In the meantime, I think Councillor Abbott and I will move on this infrastructure because it's important. But you're right. Maybe the next meeting we put that on the agenda and we have a fulsome discussion.
Wonder if we can do some thinking about the structuring of the parking committee and the structuring of the highway committee and bring recommendations as soon as we can together.
We probably need to do our committee as a whole again,
Yeah.
right, on committees.
Yeah.
Short committee of the whole, just do
Yeah.
that committee section that we did before.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
We can do some thinking ahead of time and just bring in some ideas and
yeah,
around. Okay.
good idea. Okay. Business, we had nothing else under new business. We'll move on to public questions. And Marina, if you can open, first of all, we'll go to the gallery. Any questions or comments? 2-minute session. Okay,
Question.
yes.
I was just gonna ask, why was the, I think Councillor Abbott said about the, standing committee, the infrastructure committee. Why was that folded? Why was it, what dissolved that?
Yeah, folded, dissolved, they're probably all the wrong words, because it's actually still in place. It never technically ended. It wasn't achieving, because it ended up being a mini council meeting with a lot of political discussion. And the technical experts in the room didn't want to be there for that. And then there wasn't, and we're getting towards the end of our term, there wasn't any actual projects that they needed to work on. So the mayor just stopped calling them. So he just stopped having, it was a standing committee, so he just stopped having these committees. He said he was going to leave it unless we had a specific project we need to discuss. And none came to the fore for that last year and a bit. So it didn't really meet in the last year. I can't remember the exact times and dates, but about a year.
so it essentially became dysfunctional because of the requirement of the standing committee, that you need to have an equal number of councillors and residents.
Yes, it was fun.
That's not what I heard. My feedback was that there was a difficulty with the staff communicating with the
There was
committee.
there was staff issues involved as well.
And so the staff basically wanted to sort of do the work themselves without any input and suggestions and guidance. And the individual I talked to finally just went, well, I'm a volunteer, and if my recommendations aren't
I'm not being listened to.
heeded to, I'll walk. And I think that's something that we all have to think about is these volunteers, they step up and I'll use the tree committee as an example. They go to a lot of effort to review these various requests. And when they bring their recommendations forward and these tree committee or other experts, they're basically recommendations. If we cut them in half every time they bring recommendations forward, we're soon going to discourage these individuals from volunteering their time. So I think we have to be, as councillors and mayor, aware that we have to respect their input and their time. It's not good enough to say they can come back next year and redo the process. I think we have to really give that some serious consideration.
I think we agreed to have a meeting with the tree committee. I think that's a different, so slightly different ball of wax to the rest of these committees. We agreed to do that. We haven't done that, so maybe we should get that back on.
Yeah, that's another good suggestion.
I think there's some learning that we can have from that, though, in terms of how respected those committee members feel about the work that they've done to date. So
Sure.
I think that we can always learn from that.
Okay. Any other questions in the gallery? No? Okay. With that, we'll move to adjourn the public portion of the meeting. Moved. Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed, carried. Okay, thank you very much for everyone's participation. We'll move into our closed session. Okay, welcome back, and motion to open the meeting. Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Okay. Reporting out of the closed session, council would like to report that we're actively recruiting a new CAO and other staff with the guidance of Randy Deal of the provincial ministry. So thank you very much, Randy, for your assistance, and as well as Deanna.
Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys still look fairly perky. You're doing okay.